Okay, so for this video we're going to look at how to straighten an image. This is one of the most used tools within Photoshop, and it's a pretty simple tool to get used to, but it's also very important, especially if you want to photograph architecture, buildings in general, and still life product photography. Because sometimes you think that you've actually shot something perfectly level or straight, or you did it by hand, and when you look at it digitally you suddenly find it's a little bit out of line, it's a little bit wonky, it's not perfectly vertical and horizontal. Now with this particular image, we could run the idea of the client has come back and said, we like the image but we want the pens to be straight. Can you please straighten it horizontally and then crop it, and we'll be happy with it. Now to do this, you can't just go straight in and just try and straighten the image horizontally or vertically. It just doesn't work. There's two things that you need to do first. Now if you come to the right of the screen and have a look here, you'll find that there's a layer called background. Now, this is the original image. This is exactly what I've opened in Photoshop. What you need to do is you need to duplicate this layer. And to do this, if you go up to the top menu and select layer, scroll down, just hit duplicate layer, this box will come up. Now you can name the layer whatever you would like. So let's just say this is duplicate 1, and then click OK. You'll notice that another layer has appeared here. Okay. Now, the reason why you need to do this is because Photoshop tries to protect the original files as much as it can. You can't edit the background layer, the original file, as fully as a duplicate. Okay. Now, if we scroll up and look at the edit menu, a lot of these are grayed out. You can't actually use them. But these ones are now used. You can now use these. Okay. Now, if I didn't have this extra layer on, these would not be able to work, and this is exactly where you need to start looking to straighten your layer. But before we do that, we need to go into the view menu, which is located up here. Scroll down a little and you'll find rulers, and if you just give that a click, you'll find that these numbers have suddenly started showing up. Okay. Now the reason why you need this is because it helps you be more precise with your work, and that is very important at all times, as you would know with professional photography. So if I click and hold on the ruler at the top and then drag down with my mouse, you'll notice this line starting to come down. If I bring it just into roughly the center of the image, just about, and let go, you'll see a vivid blue line coming across the image. Now this is a perfectly horizontal line. Okay. And the reason why you want to use this is it's the same as when you try and trace something, or if you actually want to cut around something with a guillotine, you need it to be perfectly level and straight. This is the digital version of that. Don't worry, it's not going to be on your image or anything like that. You can actually fully remove it later, which I'll show you. Okay, so now that we've got this horizontal line, we can now go into the edit menu, scroll down, and you've got two options. You've got free transform and transform. And the main one we want right now is transform, which has this little arrow, which means there's a sub menu. Okay. And we need the rotate tool. And if you just select that, you'll find a box coming round, very similar to the crop box just on the outer border, but it acts very differently. And if I bring the mouse to the top corner, you'll see that it has two arrows connected by an arc. The reason for that is because it's showing you the kind of usage that this tool is going to have. So if I click and hold and then start to move, you'll notice that the image is starting to rotate, and it's pivoting just on this little dot here. Okay, now that can actually be changed by this tool. If I was to position that roughly back to where it was, doesn't need to be perfect to get an idea, and I clicked on another area such as up here and then started rotating, it will rotate on that tool. Okay, so each of these dots on this symbol correlate and connect to each one of these. Okay, they're your anchor points, they're your pivot points. Okay, that's very important to understand when you want to start doing this. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll just cancel that. So if I just click the cross minus, if you aren't happy with what you've done, you can just cancel it all out and then go straight back in and select the rotate tool again, and you'll find that the pivot point is now in the middle because it's obviously highlighted there. So if I want to bring the line of the pens perfectly horizontal, I can click and hold, bring it round, just get it roughly right. Okay. Now I have two options. I can either take this arrow as so, but you can't do it because you're still using the tool. You need to confirm, which can be a bit awkward, okay? So let's cancel that for now. Go back up to the ruler, click and hold again, because we'll let you do that before you confirm your selection. Bring it down and line it up as well as you can with the pen. It's roughly close as you can to one of the vertical lines or horizontal lines that you want to use. Once you've got that, you can zoom in. Now on a Mac, if you press and hold the command key and then press the plus sign, you'll start to zoom in. On Windows, it should be the control or alt key and then the plus and minus. And you don't forget, you've got to press and hold the command alt or control key and then use the plus or minus keys to zoom in and out as such, okay? And this just gives you a better view, so you can see that you've got the horizontal line there, the horizontal line of the ruler, and they're pretty close. They're not too bad, okay? So I'm pretty happy with that. So I'll zoom back out just to confirm my selection. And I'll go up, and same as the crop tool, I have to hit the tick to confirm my selection and the amendments that I've done. So I'll tick that. I'm happy. There you go. Now obviously you've got all this coming through from this layer, the background layer. If I turn the background layer off by pressing this little eye icon, you'll notice that it's completely gone and you'll just have this checkered board, which means there's no information. If you see this checkered board, there's no information at all, and whatever colour paper you decide to print on will come straight through. There's no information to print with, okay? So I'll just turn that back on just to fill it in a little bit. And I will get rid of these rulers simply by clicking on this tool. Now you'll see the mouse has now changed to this double arrow. Click and hold, and drag back up to the arrow, to the ruler, sorry, and let go, and they will go away, okay? They're just hiding. So now that I've got this, I now need to go into my crop tool, which we've already looked at before. So we've got the crop tool, select that. Now I've got it on the original ratio, so it'll keep the ratio that's already been set from the photograph, and I'll start to bring in. Now you'll see these lines coming in, and I'm just bringing it in to meet those. Make sure that when you do this, all 4 lines come into it, okay? So we've got the full line. Now, within the previous video, I decided that I wanted to crop just into the pens, and I'm still going to do that now, so I'm going to crop in all that little bit more. There we go. Let's bring each corner in turn, make sure you're happy with everything that's coming out, and there we go. So all of the pens are there. I've got a nice horizontal line, so I'm going to confirm that by hitting this tick button here. There we go. Just go back to that to remove the border. And there we go. So just press and hold command and press plus, and you'll see your images. And if you want to preview, press the tab key to remove everything, and you can just zoom it in to get full screen. And I've got a perfect horizontal line going across the pens, and that's exactly what my client wanted, and I have a nice level image.